Alright y'all, I said I would do this and here it is. The build I was talking about making. You know, the one with skill duration mods and the Oxidizer. But this went through a lot of changes while trying to decide which pieces I wanted to put together. Now a while ago, I made a build called corrosive intent. 2 iterations, matter of fact. And so I went back to look at the latest version to get an idea of how I made it. The thing is, when putting this build together, it went through several changes. Because for one, I wanted it to be mainly based on skill duration so that the cloud could last extremely long. I've heard it lasting up to 27 seconds and that is crazy. But when I began to make the build, I realized that there's so many advantages to the Oxidizer besides that aspect. So I had to tweak it a bit. Let me show you the amalgamation. A couple days ago I made a video discussing the insane math that goes into how amplified damage is calculated, and that discussion sparked up a lot of conversation. In one of them I found out that not only the Contractor's Gloves damage to armor applies to Oxidizer, but also the Fox's Prayer knee pads, the target side of cover. The Oxidizer is one of the only skills that so many amplified bonuses and weapon attributes apply to, which is why it is so strong and preferred by so many to use in legendary content. Just look at how it deals with these rogue agents. They didn't even touch me. The drone also had a lot to do with that, but that's just it. I'm about to show you how this build with the skill combination makes this playstyle dominating. So when making the build, I didn't want to be spread too thin, and I know I said it would be based on skill duration, but here's the thing. When I made that video calling it the rarest item in the game, which some of you had something to say about, telling me, yo man, this isn't rare. I got like 6 of these. There were so many comments saying that, but listen to me, okay? A rare item to me may not be a rare item to you. RNG chooses who it wills. A player could run through Dark Hours raid 100 times and not even get a single Eagle Bearer drop. Another could get it on the first run, literally, a noob. So for me, these mods will not drop at all. I don't know what to say. That being said, I had to alter the build a bit, but it still drives the idea forward. This Wyvern chest piece alone will make any skill more readily available, so it's the perfect talent for a skill duration type build. You ever use Tag Team? One of the most underrated chest piece talents in the game. Here's what it does. The last enemy you have damaged with a skill is marked. Dealing weapon damage to that enemy consumes the mark to reduce the active cooldowns. So no matter how long the skill lasts, this talent will make it more readily available for you to use. Because every time I shoot someone after they're marked with this, the cooldown is reduced. And I know it says shooting someone with your weapon consumes the mark, but the Oxidizer does as well if you hit the enemy directly with it. So you're using the Oxidizer to consume the mark itself. This is crazy. Anyway, with no skill duration mods, the duration of my cloud is still good, and instead of using those mods in my gear, I chose to go with skill haste. In a nutshell, this does the same thing, but opposite, right? I'm still able to have my skills accessible at all times, not to mention that I also have a 2-piece Hannah U, which grants skill haste and skill damage, the mask and backpack with perfect combined arms. Here's where I want to talk about the other skill that I had those rogues going crazy with. The striker drone, which mind you, lasts over 4 minutes, and this with combined arms and Oxidizer is literally a match made in heaven. When a drone is in the air wreaking havoc upon its victims, they are forever distracted by it, while the Oxidizer is on the ground all around them. So they're either trying to get out of that cloud or shoot the drone, which gives me free range to utilize perfect combined arms to its full potential. And here's why I didn't fully want to spec into skill duration, because the Oxidizer is really strong. So I had to take advantage of that. One of the ways I did that was by adding the Contractor's Gloves and Fox's Prayer knee pads. Both of these amplified damages apply to the Oxidizer, which is why it melts armor. And Contractor's Gloves, which grants damage to armor, is one bonus I think you should stack the most. Because the weapon I'm using is Capacitor, the assault rifle that has amazing attributes and weapon attachments that grant extra crit damage and the damage to armor only on LMGs. The Capacitor is the only assault rifle that has this damage to armor attribute, and all of this applies to the Oxidizer. I'll show you the stat sheet at the end and you can see how much damage to armor there actually is. But this is also why for the attributes on my gear I decided to roll skill damage and crit damage. It'll make my crit damage significantly high for a build like this because of the Capacitor's extra crit damage it has on its attachments. And the skill damage helps the Oxidizer and Striker drone's base damage. And I don't need the skill haste rolls. That's what the Tag Team chest piece talent's for. And for the final piece, I had to show some love for the skill duration with this Murakami holster. I thought about replacing it with a Fenris holster for the AR damage, but I didn't want to give up that 20% skill duration it offers for the first piece. What y'all think? Let me know in the comments what you would do. I think I pretty much covered everything. If you have anything to add, make sure you comment below. Also, check out my other YouTube channel called Identity Games, where if you didn't know, I'm in the process of creating my own game. I'm a game developer now, and it's an open world RPG looter shooter that looks pretty awesome. I'd appreciate your support over there. And make sure you subscribe to both channels. Thank you for stopping by. Until I see you in my next video, be right out.